Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Shootz and Swerves with your boy Jonathan at Bad Guy Wrestling and Chris Cortez at Channel Cortez 33. Tonight we are covering the review of Elimination Chamber 2025. It is now March 2nd, 2025. This show took place Monday, March 1st, Saturday. Of course, what a night. What a show. Couple things right off the bat. John Cena, you know it. Your boy turns heel. We got a new opponent for who the hell knows in Bianca Belair, but we'll talk about that. Without further ado, Jonathan at Bad Guy Wrestling, how you do tonight, brother?
Yo, I'm doing pretty good. Still kind of, dumbfounded about the heel turn for John Cena, but, you know what? Better late than never. And you know what? If this is his last ride, Bad Guy Wrestling all the way.
I'm with it now, too. I'm on the Bad Guy Wrestling train with this. Yes. I've been with it when it comes to John Cena. You know, it's funny. You mentioned better late than never, and sure enough, yeah, it was definitely past due. Interesting, ironically enough, we had talked about this thoroughly in our last review together on the Royal Rumble. And I had said that he would turn heel after WrestleMania or even like on the night of, losing. So interestingly enough, he's done it before WrestleMania. So we have to talk about this, for sure. Where we think it's going to go, because I didn't think it was going to happen like this. Am I against it? Absolutely not. I just wanted to see it happen. Does this make it for much more entertaining television? Hells yeah. Okay. WrestleMania, the stakes just got that much higher. So we've got so much more to talk about. I do think we're going to get into what we think is going to play out between now and WrestleMania, because all the matches are now going to form. But yeah, I got to say this was a very fun show right off the bat, all across the board. I even was enjoying the tag match that I thought had no real premise going into this that much, but we'll talk about that. And everything was good, top to bottom. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn was such a great match. I think we know where it's going from here, and I think it's time for it. I think they earned a match at WrestleMania, and they will have a rematch at WrestleMania, and it'll be like the ultimate grudge match. I'm thinking Hell in the Cell at WrestleMania between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. All right, but that's the Royal Rumble, the women's match. The Elimination Chamber match was very cool. A lot of cool spots we'll talk about, a lot of fun. And, of course, the men's Elimination Chamber match had its moments and kept you on your toes, and you kind of saw where it was going. I had texted you, let you know, hey, Cena's going to win this. But how he won it and the points that came right after, couldn't quite have predicted it just like that. But when you're watching it, you see it coming. It's like a car crash coming before it's on its way. But by the time you see it's coming, it's too late. It's happened. All right, Jonathan, your thoughts on Elimination Chamber?
Overall, it's already been covered. It was a shocking ending. Fantastic. Yeah. As far as the heel turn, looking at some of the matches, still talking about the tag team match with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae it was fine, whatever. But definitely the highlights of the night overall were the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn Unsanctioned match. Of course, the Elimination Chamber matches, which in the women's match you had the shocking return of Jade Cargill.
Which I loved. That's in my notes. Yes, I liked that.
And then on the men's side, you kind of it made it real clear to me, because I thought if John Cena wins it, you're gonna have a face against a face essentially. So now that's no longer an issue going forward.
So you saw that as a possible issue. Now it's not an issue, and not only that, but it's like these two, if they were both faces, it would really not be as intriguing, considering the fact that it's not like they are like immovable force meets what's it called? It's the immovable force meets the impenetrable object. It's like okay, let me put it like this. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, okay? They were both so on point to be like the guy and so popular, but at one point Ultimate Warrior was just getting that much more popular. It was it was inevitable for them to clash. So it made sense for those two faces to clash. It had to happen. There's nothing going on like that between John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
No, if anything, respect. It's just
exactly. So how boring? Yeah, so it's boring. So it's like now they've made a story that it will send shockwaves throughout the universe of professional wrestling. It's gonna be something else. It's gonna be something else.
And it puts the automatic. So the biggest thing for me is it puts the automatic thought of, I don't care who you put against Cody Rhodes, he's going to retain, walk out of the champion, nothing's going to change. Now the wheels are spinning in my head of, this is the perfect setup for how do you take a title off a guy who's that over right now,
I definitely will get into what I think is going to happen with John Cena, Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 25. And then, of course, even more importantly, what's going to happen afterwards moving forward? What's going to happen throughout the year 2025 and quite possibly beyond. So, honestly, just before we get into the details, I'm going to say straight up, I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was my favorite match of the night. It's just pound for pound, minute for minute. I couldn't stop watching it and having fun with this match. Everything was not. There was no wasted motion. These two were nuts. Okay, I want to go back, look at some of the images of Kevin Owens and just the looks, the facial expressions. You go back and watch a match, the way he put on his facial expressions and the way he acted in response to treating Sami Zayn the way he did, it was fantastic. It is a must-see match. If you haven't seen that one, you better go back and watch that match. Okay. That being said, all the matches were good, but obviously some better than others. We're gonna get into that, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's definitely probably my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, I would agree on that front that it's the match that kind of draw me in the most. You get a little fatigue from the Elimination Chamber matches where you're kind of just waiting for all the people to come out of it,
right?
Out of the pods, to get to the real beginning of the match in some sense.
Yeah.
But the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens match was just brutal, and the aspect of it really was different and unique than the rest of what was going on in the rest of the pay-per-view. So it probably stole the show until The Rock came out.
Pretty much. You're absolutely right. I think it stole the show. And I'm okay, let's just see what happens with this Elimination Chamber men's match. And I'm okay, this is cool. And then I'm waiting. I'm I get excited when I see John Cena and CM Punk together, face to face. And I'm okay, this is what I want to see. And, we're going to get into that, but this was fun. And then everything building up with Seth Rollins. A lot of the pieces are set, but there's still a few more pieces to kind of move around. But it's all there. And then, of course, when The Rock showed up with Trevor Scott?
Trevor Scott.
Yeah. This stuff is... And I'm trying to explain it to a friend in Germany, of why I was, so amped up for this. And he's yeah, I don't really give a shit, Chris. I was yeah, I know. And I wish I could put it into words, what I was witnessing, but there's so much little details going on that it is just... will make you laugh your ass off. Everything from Travis Scott coming out with his belt, okay, dude acting all freaking he's about to wrestle, to The Rock whipping out a weightlifting strap that says Cody Soul on it.
That was
one line. I want your soul. What is it? It sounded cringy as fuck, but only he pulls it off because what does he do? He just keeps going with it. No, this is what I'm doing now. I want Cody's soul. Ridiculous.
What?
But
he gets all the blood on it and everything, and it's just like so over the top. So
it's so over the top. It is like a comic book. It's straight out of a comic book. You know?
Yeah.
It's straight out of a comic book. That's
that's
the best. That's the best. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expected the pay-per-view to be over. You know, John Cena does his kind of Super Cena routine, and which is a little different than he had been. He had been kind of looking vulnerable a lot, but then he jumps out with the Super Cena routine, wins the the Elimination Chamber.
I'll admit, I did it too earlier. Yep.
Yeah. You kind of think it's over at that point, and then it's like, hold on, there's another 20 minutes left.
Right, because I'm asking myself, I'm like, dude, they still got to whip out. They keep mentioning it. Cody still has to come out. The Rock still has to come out, and they've like, this is going to be. So really, that's the main. That was kind of like the main event moment of the show was The Rock coming out with Trevor Scott and this heel turn from Cena, and Cody Rhodes coming out and saying what he said, which I think all of it, perfect promo, just a perfect promo.
Yeah, and it was kind of strange seeing Cena as a hype man in the back for Cody Rhodes at first,
of course.
You know, like, no, don't do that. Come face me at WrestleMania. And he keeps pointing at the sign and all this kind of stuff.
Of course. And you can feel it. I can feel it. The more he kept doing stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, he's going to turn heel tonight. Like, he's going to turn heel tonight. And he's hugging him, and then Rock does his little his little gesture, and all of a sudden the expression on Cena just turns into fucking evil Superman, evil Super Cena. All this, it's exactly what would happen, and that's perfect. You know, Cena is now on another level. If you think you've seen Cena, you know, you haven't. You have not seen John Cena. This, I believe, is going to be the best John Cena you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Okay?
The best John Cena. This is it. Okay? He may have lost a little bit off the top, okay? But he's still ripped. He's still looking as athletic as ever, okay? Like, what do you can't tell me he's slowing down that much. I'm sorry, but he really hasn't. You know?
I mean, for him, it's strange. Like,
for
maybe
him,
he lost a little bit of shoulder mass. Maybe he has a neck now.
Right.
Maybe just a little bit here, too. But, like, for anyone else, he's still just ridiculously jacked, you know? Exactly.
Like you can't, like, this is not, you know, normal. He is a freak. He is a freak of nature, okay, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, this is a great time. You know, I had friends all, you know, back home on the West Coast. They were saying they were going to watch it today. I'm like, dude, you're in for a great fucking show. Like, so far it's already been good. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you know, there's so much wrestling content out there right now that it is kind of hard to try to get on it all but what's great about it now is we can tell people, look, go watch this. Don't give a shit about that. If you can make time for this, but really this is what you got to watch. Like, you really have to watch this and have a good time with it.
For sure. Yeah,
guys, before we get what's up? Oh, yeah. One more thing I'll say before, you know, we get into each match. Like, everyone knows who the hell John Cena is. I ask people, like, you know John Cena is? They're like, of course I know John Cena is. It's like, you know he turned heel, right? And they're like, well, what the fuck does that mean? They're like, what does that mean? I'll tell you what the fuck that means. It means he's gone bad. And, like, people think, well, why does that matter? I'm like, well, I'll put it to you like this. This guy has made more Make-A-Wish foundations than any other human being alive. Okay? He's more loved by the children and by the people because of that good guy gimmick that he's been putting on for the last 2 decades. Okay? He's just basically said, fuck you to everybody. He's basically risked it all. Is it going to be a long-term risk? No. But it's like freezing it for a little bit, because anybody who's a child, like, absorbing this stuff is not going to be like, okay, Cena's the good guy. They're going to be like, this guy scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. I mean, all the big Cena fans, like, Cena hasn't been really that present off and on the last few years. They're probably all teenagers now or adults, you know. You're absolutely right. And this is a point that we talked about. It's like, would this have affected his Make-A-Wish foundation? Not really. Like, it's really not going to affect it. And maybe it would let's just say it puts a freeze on it. You make the point. It doesn't really matter because he hasn't really been around to build
a new standard, a new generation of fans, of young children fans.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been there. It hasn't been there. So it was gearing up to this, and I was commenting on social media that he is going to turn heel. People are like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So no, now it is going to happen. You can't never say never in the wrestling business. Come on now.
Yeah.
But let's get into it without further ado. Before we do, though, please hit that like or subscribe button at Channel Cortez 33, at Bad Guy Wrestling. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're here on YouTube TV. If you haven't gone back, check out our Royal Rumble review. Okay, for last month was a lot of fun. All right, we have good times talking shit, shooting the shit, talking about this wrestling, and always. And now, moving forward, let's talk about this show, okay? Because there's a lot of build-up leading up to this show. I watched this show at 1 a.m. here in Germany. All right, you had to watch it a little bit later, like into it, but you started a little late. But either way, we were watching it late. When we probably could have fallen asleep throughout this show, we stayed up watching it. I fell asleep during the Royal Rumble. I fell asleep right before, right around the time the men's Royal Rumble started. Actually, it was around the time Cody Rhodes was wrestling KO. I was falling asleep, couldn't help myself. That wasn't going to happen, last night. And I watched Brave New World, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk a little bit about that, just to let you know. To those that think that movie is not so good, the critics, they are wrong. I think it's a good movie, standalone. It is for a comic book movie, guys. This is not Quentin Tarantino's 13th film or 12th film. This is a Disney Marvel movie. Okay, it does its job. You get a badass fight scene. I think the trailers kind of let you know that. I'm not giving a spoiler, but Red Hulk and Captain America are gonna duke it out, and that's cool. And there's a little bit of subtle hints as to where Marvel is going from there. That's all I will say, and I appreciate that. It was under 2 hours, so they didn't drag it on. So there you go. I know there was a lot of issues with the filming and the cuts, and that there were problems, but whatever. I'm pretty sure it made its money back. Was playing not Evil Within. That was a good game though. But I was playing what's it called? Alan Wake. Have you ever heard of that game before, Jonathan?
Alan Wake? No.
Alan Wake. Yeah.
Alan Wake.
Pretty cool game. Kind of plays like Last of Us. A little bit of a kind of like the Evil Within. Third person horror survival. You play as an author who he's trapped in his own idea, one of his own horror stories. And he kind of narrates throughout the game, and you have to use a flashlight and a gun at the same time to fight these phantoms. It's pretty badass.
Damn, came out like Doom all over again.
But it's third person. That does kind of sound but it's totally, and it takes place in the Pacific Northwest. It originally came out in 2010. They did a remaster for the PlayStation 4. So that means it's originally for the Xbox 360. So it's technically it was that generation with PS3 and Xbox 360. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. The games then, they seem to have the perfect length where you could play a game, knock it out in say 20 hours and feel like you got your money's worth. Whereas now it's okay, if I'm going to pay $60, I need 100 hours worth of play at least for the first campaign or something crazy like that. But
yeah, I
don't like to feel like I'm going to have to, I'm going to pick this game up and that means I'm going to have to play it for a month, I don't know, but I like it. It's a good game. I enjoyed that. Then, of course, watched Venom, The Last Dance. And
had a busy night.
Had a busy night. Now, I know that this movie was not so I heard bad reviews. I gotta look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, but I feel like they could have gone further with the main bad guy. They introduced the main bad guy right at the beginning, and you think, okay, there's gonna be a badass fight between Venom and Null. And dude, anybody who has any idea what's going on with the comic books knows who the hell Null is at this point. Okay, you made him look cool. You better bring him back, but come on now.
Was
like,
Venom's son in there?
no. No. They did not have the amount of time to introduce all these things. They don't even it's like as if they were trying to give you like a little bit of a taste of the crossover of the King in Black, but it was nothing like what you would have expected it to be like. It was good, obviously good visuals. You know, it's got its sense of humor going for it, but nah, it was no good. You want to talk about not working as a standalone or you know, just not a great movie. They could have taken it so much further. You know, and it's sad that that's just how they're going to end it for now, but whatever. And then, yeah, but that's then of course I was like, all right, let's watch this Elimination Chamber, and we'll get right into it. Now, Jonathan, the first match, okay, we get right into it. I'm fast forwarding through all the commentary, the bull crap leading up to it. We get to the women's elimination match, right? Right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Good way to start it. Start it with a chamber match, finish it with a chamber match. Right off the bat, Jade Cargill. That's the thing that I was like, oh shit. She comes out wailing on Naomi, beating the hell out of her. Okay, that I feel like she's looking good. Like Cargill is looking like she is stepping up her game, her wrestling ability. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anyone who tells me that she can't work is full of shit. I don't know where they get it.
Each match, so yeah. Even if you don't think she can work, she's still pretty fresh or pretty new to the industry, and she's getting better.
Yeah. This match, you know, I wanted to see how long this one went for. It was about 29 minutes, 15 seconds. That's a good amount of time, perfect amount of time. I was very much like impressed with everybody's performance. I feel like everybody did their best. I mean, all 6 of these women are good to go. Obviously, Bianca, she wins this match, which I was surprised. I was surprised that after the beatdown from her partner Naomi by Jade Cargill, I thought she was going to be completely at a loss, and I thought that's where they were going. Naomi gets eliminated because of the beatdown from Jade Cargill, so she's taken out. Liv Morgan has to wait for her next, you know, her opponent, which is the next person to come out, which is Bianca Belair, right? Mm-hmm. Belair, you know, she shakes off the emotions and puts on, you know, some good work with Liv. And I believe was it around that time that we get a certain shot, if you will, a certain image. I didn't see it, but like I heard, you know, obviously we've heard about it.
At the very end.
Oh, it was the very end. Okay, well we'll talk about that there.
Because they were the last 2 remaining.
Yeah, these 2 obviously, for the most part, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to think. They went the whole match, Belair and Liv Morgan, from then on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were the final 2.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very impressive. I got so much respect for Liv Morgan right now. Like, I seriously do. But just after the Royal Rumble and after the Elimination Chamber, if this woman does not get a WrestleMania match, you know, I don't know who the hell does. You know what I'm saying? Like, the next person, though, who comes in, is it Bayley or Perez?
Or Bliss? It was Perez.
It was Perez. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's Perez, then, yeah.
She comes out speedballing, you know, doing her thing. I thought Bliss looked good, like doing her moves. Mm-hmm. I mean, she may have, I feel like she's lost a little bit of weight, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of muscle, but like she can still go. And she still puts on her moves and everything. I'd love to. I think that's where we're going. Who am I kidding? I just realized. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Bliss Morgan match. Like for WrestleMania.
Probably so. I mean, they've been taunting each other and things like that as well. So
that's what we're going to get. Yeah. We're going to get a match between these 2. And I'm cool with that because I think Bliss is, you know, I don't think she has any rust, you know, no ring rust going on. They're going to have a good match. I think Liv Morgan is going to win. You know, spoiler alert, but that's just what it is. I still look forward to seeing these 2 go, you know, the distance at WrestleMania. And then Bayley, I honestly thought after a while watching this, I actually thought Bayley was going to like seal a win. They've been teasing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's kind of been on the side a little bit here. Yeah. I mean, she was on top for so long, or at least in the main event picture for so long, when she wasn't holding a belt that like, it's almost like they're trying to just push her to the side just a little bit to get a little reprieve,
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah, like make her more of like an ambassador figure than anything else. She's loved, she's popular. It's not gonna hurt. I'm curious as to where she's gonna fit in all this in WrestleMania. I have no idea. Your thoughts?
I mean, there's a rivalry between her and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez is an NXT person, so she kind of shows up, and I don't know. I don't think it's the best fit for a rivalry for WrestleMania, but unfortunately, maybe that's the direction they're going.
Well, maybe that would make sense then. That would make sense. And no, I wouldn't be, sure how high on the card that would be. But yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to. Again, it's like since they kind of moved Bayley off to the side just a little bit. It's hard. I get it because she's a top tier performer in the women's division, and how are you going to fit Naomi and Jade, and how are you going to fit Bianca Belair versus the eventual Rhea Ripley,
right?
Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. I mean, that's 3 matches right there alone. I know WrestleMania is a 2-night event, but you're going to get only so many matches.
Which is why, you make this point. This is why I think there's going to be some kind of match that is able to bring in a hand, like quite a few women. I don't know if it, like, we're talking like either it could be a ladder match or like a tag team match. That's it. Nothing else. Because honestly, you're right. I don't see them having another grudge match between like Bayley and anybody else, like a Roxanne Perez. At the same time, it's like you're gonna have Bayley, who was defending the women's WWE Championship at WrestleMania 40, to not even being on the freaking card.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
And I'm still even missing one more. I mean, you're gonna have the Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair match as well. So. There you go. You've pretty much got 4 WrestleMania women's singles matches already booked in there, unless of course they do something sooner.
Right.
But that's more than half a night right there. So
yeah,
I like your idea about thinking that they're going to have to do something more tag or some sort of thing where they can bring in basically everyone else.
I almost wish they just bring back Money in the Bank. Put in Money in the Bank matches, the men's match on one night, women's matches on the other night, and that's it, because I don't think that Money in the Bank is a good pay-per-view. I never did. I always liked the fact that it was at WrestleMania, that it could be cashed in the same night on WrestleMania, that it could take it pretty much is, WrestleMania marks the entire calendar year. So it is the freaking restart of the year. So it would make sense to have a briefcase for that long. For that amount of time during that calendar. So what the hell?
Yeah, for sure.
I like it a hell of a lot more than a stupid battle royal. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, they have the men's Andre the
Giant Battle Royal. Oh, as a preview, like prior to the.
I believe so. I don't know. Did the women's? Do they have anything like that?
Yeah, they had the Mae Young.
Oh, that's right.
Mae Young Battle Royal. Look, and that, obviously gonna give a respect to Andre and Mae Young. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like those battle royals have been pushed to like SmackDown or Raw the night before WrestleMania. Yeah. I think that's what they've been doing, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. But it's like, this card is too important to be putting in stupid battle royals. No offense. I mean, I get it. It kind of echoes and pays homage to the old school pay-per-views and to these legends, but it's like, dude, the quality of the match, the quality of the show has stepped up significantly. You can't tell me it hasn't. You go back and watch WrestleMania 1 and see how much fun you have with that. Okay? It was cool. It had its moments, but it's not nearly as much quality as today. But yeah.
Of course.
I was, I was, like I said, a little surprised, but it made sense that we got the finish that we got with Belair and Morgan. Eliminations kind of started happening a little bit quick. There was like a break. I feel like after Perez was eliminated, They kind of held off for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 you start seeing eliminations. You know?
Yeah, it's like almost like all right, we got to wrap this up now.
Right, exactly. We got to wrap this up. That makes sense. So, yeah. Any more thoughts on this one?
I mean, it kind of, yeah, it just kind of happened. I mean, again, the surprising part didn't pick Bianca Belair to win the match, but given the whole Jay Cargill return and like I don't know if you cut, but the footage that came out that showed Liv Morgan and what's her bodyguard's name? Raquel Rodriguez.
Raquel Rodriguez.
You know, walking in the vicinity of where the attack had happened, you know, and then Jade coming out and, you know, assaulting Naomi to showcase that it probably was Naomi the whole time. Everything kind of made it interesting. So now you got, but the most interesting is it's really now that you're going to have Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, since Charlotte Flair is going to be doing the Tiffany Stratton match,
which I want to talk about. But yeah, which is going to be a great match. I mean, these two are like, you know, toe to toe. They can go toe to toe. Like they are like physically matched up properly. They're both highly athletic. Two of the best in the business right now.
I mean, arguably, you're top two female wrestlers in WWE.
Pretty much, yeah. This is going to be the match, like the women's match of the WrestleMania, as far as I'm concerned. I feel like Charlotte, Rhea Ripley might have been the best women's WrestleMania match of all time. WrestleMania 39, right? This could go the distance, go beyond that.
It's interesting, too, because who's going to win it? And especially if it's a clean match, since neither one of them are heels right now. So
right.
You don't expect any interference, but then, of course, what's going to happen between now and the start of WrestleMania can change. But, I mean, it feels like to me like it's going to set a pecking order of who the real tops, who is definitively the top women's star in WWE right now.
Absolutely. And there's really you want to talk about like two forces that cannot, like, you know, they're bound to collide, are these two women. Because really, there's no love loss. They don't give a damn about each other in terms of the story. They both want to be the best, and that's all there is to it. Mm-hmm. They don't really mess with each other, but at the same time, they've both been like soaring to the top. And now they've come to a point where it's like, okay, who's the best? Let's see it. That's it. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, all day. Take my money.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only reason I don't include Charlotte Flair in there is just, it's not, you know, obviously, when it comes to the top women's, you know, wrestler, she's in the conversation, of course, but it's just the consistency of, you know, injury and things like that. It's maybe recency biased on my part, but as far as the workhorse champion, the top number, not top guys in this case, but top gals, I don't know how everyone say it. It really seems like this is a defining point, and it makes it hard for me to go against Rhea Ripley, but I mean, Bianca Belair has been on the top as the top person for so long.
For years now, yes, absolutely. Yeah. For years since she arrived and got to that level, which didn't take long, she's maintained it. She's just, you can't take anything away from this woman. I'm not saying anything against Rhea Ripley either. I mean, she is my favorite. But yes, she has had time off. She obviously had to go back, have surgery. She came back hard. Now she's back on top where she needs to be. But at the same time, you can't take, I mean, these two have been the most consistent draws of the company for the women. That's it, you know? So, yeah. I mean, and I look to see more from these two for a long time, for at least a good amount of, for many more years. But I want to, and you pointed out Charlotte, so I feel like we got to get into it with this match. Match, and you know what's great? We're going to talk about this one. You know, the second match, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, tag team match. Didn't think I was like scratching my head. I knew there was a little story behind it, but I was like, dude, this is so not where it needs to be. Why is this match on her? But I gave it the benefit of the doubt going into it. It's like, all right, let's just watch it. And I was impressed. 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Didn't take a lot of our time. Yes, it was obviously the break match, okay? But it did what it needed to do. Right off the bat, I'm going to say, Trish Stratus really looks like she's looking better than ever. I'm sorry. I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong. She looks like she was doing everything she needed to do.
Yep. She looked better than even when she returned a year or two ago and did a stint. The thank you Trish stint that she did.
Right. Exactly.
She's
and I was
even better now, I'd say.
Yeah. It's like she's aging in reverse over here. Tiffany Stratton is so loved by the audience. I can see that. I'm sorry, but and you can help me out here, but I'm not feeling it. I've never felt it. I've never felt Tiffany Stratton. I don't like her gimmick. I just don't care. I'm not saying she's not athletic. I'm not saying doesn't have the look and she doesn't have the ability. I'm just saying overall the entire package is not something I'm going to purchase.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the crowd accepting her. Was after she won the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
And that point kind of became Nia's lackey for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it was in that point where Nia was pretty much treating her poorly because of the threat that she had. Nia was holding the belt, so she could cash in at any time, and it became a self-fulfilling prophecy, essentially, that she, got pushed to her limits as far as the disrespect, where she finally, after a couple teases, did actually cash in on Nia. And I think that whole process of her being mistreated, storyline wise, kind of made her, in some senses, a face.
Yeah.
Even though she's part of a heel stable, and the crowd, typically as they do when somebody's mistreated or tries to come out there and says, "Oh, the people," all this kind of stuff. They
I hear
typically embrace her.
They show sympathy for that person.
Yeah.
Which
there's definitely some empathy there.
There's empathy there. And I'm like, at the same time though, I'm like, but you're still a chicken shit heel. Because you're you're like shying around Nia Jax, who's a monster, okay? Who I actually empathize with Nia Jax. It's like, I know this chick is trying to freaking, you can't tell me you're not trying to cash in on her. You're trying to stay close to her to cash in on her. She's going to give you shit because she knows you're trying to cash in on her.
Yeah. The whole time it was like they had this agreement that she was going to cash in on Rhea Ripley, type of thing. And then, like I said, self-fulfilling prophecy of she kept getting pushed and then finally, had enough of it going forward. And then you get so they're extending this out. This tag team was a result of Nia losing the belt a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I think it's just filler until we get a few weeks leading up till WrestleMania, and they can really fully turn the spotlight back to Charlotte Flair.
Help me out here. How does Candice LeRae fit in all this?
Candice LeRae,
great worker,
kind of weaseled her way into Nia's inner circle,
right?
And it's just kind of clinging onto the coattails, like a yes man type of thing.
Just a terrible place for her to be.
At the same time so the division really started between Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae, and then. Type of thing. So
a great worker. She's like a steady hand. You can't go wrong with her. I give her that. So she's doing her thing. I feel like Nia Jax, if anything, has gotten better along this last year, as far as I'm concerned. We talked about that Royal Rumble. I can watch more Nia Jax, and I like to see her do the things that she does in the ring.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
I'm enjoying it. I'm incredibly impressed by Trish Stratus. And I see Tiffany come in. I'm impressed by her ability. Make no mistake about it. I see her in the ring. I'm like, okay, she can go. But I'm just not sold on the gimmick. It's there's a million, there's at least 1,000 workers that can go.
Yeah. Well, her former gymnast background was hyped a lot.
Sure.
And, the kind of the aspect of her moves and everything, but at the end of it, she's still just, kind of like the mean girl.
She's like the mean girl. Who does she remind me of? Is who are those two, the tag team? I forget now because it's been so long. I actually wish that they would come back, but they were
talking about the Australian.
Yes, the Australians.
Oh, geez, what was their names?
I'm losing it, but they're still all over social media. They post things every now and then.
And something else.
I'm sorry.
Billy Kay and
it's the other one that I really like though that I was impressed by.
Let's see.
Can't believe it. Yeah, help me out.
I mean, I'll look it up here. Let's see. Well, so
They had more
Billy Kay was the one that
charisma.
didn't quite make it, and then the other one stuck around for quite a while.
Yeah, because she was
Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, and they were
Peyton Royce. Yes, I thought Peyton Royce was like this girl. Kind of reminds me of like that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Iconics. There we go.
The Iconics. And I actually thought they were kind of like I knew what they were trying to do. I knew what they were going with. It's like these mean girls that are kind of like, you know, basically really waspy. There've been, I don't know what it is in the last like couple years. There've been so many like different versions, reincarnations of these waspy women that do this thing, and it's so cringe.
Yeah,
like it gets a little cringe, and then like you got to sit there. You know what's the worst? I'm gonna get into this. This is the worst. You're sitting there watching this cringy shit, and then you have a wife. You know, your wife, a girlfriend. Your girlfriend. You got her friends, and you have to explain this cringy shit to them.
Yeah.
You're like, well, this is just the girls. Okay, so how can I explain this? Okay. Oh no. Well, this is the trash of this. This does suck. I admit. Oh, but this is just like a portion of the women's, you know, segments.
Yeah.
Is that a good answer for that? Like, no, I'm not gonna be excused for watching this shit when I'm like telling them, yeah, no, this is just bad acting because it's the women's division.
I know.
That's not gonna work.
I understand completely what you're saying.
And then they have no jokes. They just sound waspy. They just sound a little catty. They just say some stupid shit to each other. And then the other one comes back and is like, well, you know, I'm going to do this. So I don't know if you do. And it's like, dude, like, you know, you're just as flat and generic as the freaking wasp.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare that I've, you know, got some real funny, interesting. I will, you know, as funny as bad as I hate to admit it, you know, when Timeless Tony Storm was doing her thing, you could at least get some of it. I wasn't into it, but I got it. Like I understood. Okay, this is entertaining to some people, and I can show this to them and be like, look, she's pretending. She's basically like your classic black and white, you know, actress. That's her gimmick. She's a little psychotic, but she thinks she's trapped in the 1930s. Boom, yeah. There it is, and it's funny. It's funny. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good stuff. Bianca, I like Bianca. She's got a lot of character. She's intense. She's sassy. She's sweet. Rhea, for the most part, sometimes a little cringe, but for the most part, I just love her look, her abilities, and for the most part, she's usually serious. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get it. We could do this all night, but Becky Lynch, you know, was one of the better promos, but even she could get cringy at times.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you know.
She'd say some really weird, like, I want to, you know, chop it up to, like, lost in translation type stuff, but it's like she didn't want to, like, cross the line and being too disrespectful, right. So she picked, like, the most, like, corny kind of American slang she can do, and it's just like, ugh. You had this badass promo, and all of a sudden you end it with this. And now
Paige
I'm like, ugh.
It was funny because Paige got pretty good. AJ Lee was really good, I think. Paige was pretty good. I'm trying to think. I was thinking of someone else that was like around that caliber of like that, like a graduating class, if you will, of women in wrestling. Those two were actually putting on some good promos for a while there. But yeah, if anyone else comes up, I'm trying to think. Lita was pretty good too. It's like legends though. Like at this point, they're like classic, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. We got to get back into it, you know? But yeah, thing about this match though, the finish. Okay. I put it in my notes. I had to bring it up. I'm watching Tiffany I get tagged in by Trish. Trish is out of the ring. She makes the pin up. She does something. Look closely. I swear Tiffany looked like she was kicking Trish out of the ring. Her own partner out of the ring before she made the pin. I swear to God, like it was like a little bit of like disrespect from Tiffany Stratton. And I'm like, I'm calling it right now. Trish is going to turn heel. Trish is going to turn on this girl because Tiffany's supposed to be. It's like Trish is supposed to be like her favorite star growing up. These two are from Canada. You get the hell out of here with that shit. Trish
and it wouldn't be the first time she's turned on people, even in recent history.
She's known for doing this shit. She's going to turn on Tiffany at WrestleMania, costing her the title. Charlotte Flair is going to be champion, and Trish Stratus is going to be with Charlotte. Boom. That's what's going to happen. That's where I think they're going with this. Because Charlotte can't. First of all, Charlotte is already a heel. It took less than one night of promoing to get the reaction from the crowd for her to go back to her old ways to be like, yeah, I really don't give a shit what y'all think. I'm gonna freaking.
It was the promo they showed on the week before on SmackDown of her return that was going to be for the next week was when she was already being booed as a heel. It was even before she stepped foot in the ring. It was the promo they did. The video package.
Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
She's like so not liked. She's so not liked. It's bad. But it's like at the same time, like, hey, you can't shy away from it. You know what I mean? You are a heel. You are as heel as it gets. There's like the heel is strong with that one.
You gotta play your role.
You've got to play your role. And it's like sometimes you just can't run away from it you just can't. You may have one or two nights where the crowd will give you the respect and they'll love you and the adoration for doing what you've done. And they'll give you the applause. They'll give you your roses. But for the most part, you're a heel, girl. Like, you're going to stay heel just like your dad. This is not something you can walk away from, okay?
And Chris Jericho understands that well.
Yeah.
Even when they applaud him, he just waits for it to be done and then puts the next insult out.
Yeah, Jericho is another one. Like, dude, how long is Jericho? Even when Jericho is like a face, he's still a heel. Like, he's like, really, he's not a face at all. It's like it's kind of like Austin. I mean, Austin, except Austin is very much super loved, but it's like, we'll talk about that. So now we don't want to get too far off, but it's like, Charlotte Flair is, hated on in terms of promo work. We do not enjoy listening to her talk because we do not enjoy, like, she's just so monotone. That voice is so monotone. It's so tough to really listen to.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. She never got it. She's not her dad in that regard. That's something. I'm not saying it's going to cost her too. Obviously, it hasn't cost her too much, and it's not like I can't listen to her at all. But like, there are certain times when I can, I think you have to really be very careful about how she needs to be really careful about how she, gets on that mic because
for sure.
Yeah, it's not like her dad. It's not like her dad at all. But that's what I think is going. That's where I think we're going. And that would make sense, right? Trish and Charlotte, they could carry the load of the mic work with the promos following WrestleMania. And that way while she's the champ, she's not like having, getting booed out of the freaking arena with that mic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, yes. Let's move on. Okay, to this next match. Third match, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Unsanctioned match. They did not, hesitate to stress that it was an unsanctioned match. Bad boy went 27 minutes, 35 seconds of delightful entertainment. The best, in my opinion, was when the referees started coming in and Kevin Owens would let them make the pin, count to 2, not follow through with the 3, so he'd have to beat that ass. It was great. It was great.
I love how they stress out there's no rules, it's unsanctioned, but there's still a ref to count a 3. And
have to get a ref to count a 3. You can't get...
It's amazing.
He's like called a son of a bitch by like freaking Michael Cole all night long. It's so great. This match was so much fun. The chairs, the barbed wire chair, I believe it was, the tables. I mean, the action that took place. Let me see. One of the best spots that I saw. Okay, let's get into KO biting the nose of Sami Zayn while he's like, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's biting his head, then he's biting his nose. Okay, it's just straight brutality.
Yeah, for sure. It was a brutal match from start to finish.
They took it to another level.
Yeah.
Then you get one thing I really appreciated was when Sammy's on the top turnbuckle. KO tosses him. Sami takes a front bump onto two tables stacked on top of each other. It's not an easy bump. That's not an easy spot. So I definitely respected that one. That was brutal. Brutal. And of course, that barbed wire chair was good stuff. Yeah.
Oof.
I mean,
difficult.
If
Marie turns to me and she's like, "This is fake, right?" And I was like, "I don't know
that's
how
the
you
best.
This.
That's the best." She asked. She was like, "This is fake, right?"
Yeah. And I'm like,
"You got it." That's when you tell her, "I don't know. Some of this isn't."
I was like, "I don't know how you fake this."
Yeah. Now this isn't. This is basically two guys who have known each other for 2 decades. What they do in the ring is going to be that much better.
Yeah,
you go back to the days of if you were, me and my brother, okay, when we used to wrestle, all right, we would go, we'd have these epic WrestleMania 30-minute matches, outside, like basically we'd use my mom's queen size bed because we could pretend like it's a wrestling ring, but we also, most of the time, we're wrestling outside of the ring, okay, just punching the shit out of each other, okay, and it's like, we get to a point where we're like punching each other in the face, but it's like, it's basically how they do it in wrestling. They're keeping the fist a little bit loose, and Carlos is really good at it. He was really good at doing it. I would kind of wish that I could have him come in and be like, "Look, I need to show these guys how to punch. You know how to do it. I'll take it, okay?" Yeah. But because I know how hard you hit with, it doesn't feel good. Yeah. It doesn't feel good. But like when you're in the adrenaline, like you kind of like just go with it, okay? And that's just kind of like so like. If you know that you basically build this threshold with this person where you're like, okay, I know this person will beat the shit out of me to this extent.
Yeah.
This person knows I'll beat the shit out of him to that extent. We'll go this hard. Let's take it up a little bit. But we're not going to hurt each other because we trust each other. That's it. We've done it. Yeah. So it's like, that's what it is. Yeah. And that's, they take it to another level every year. They're going to fight till the day they leave. They're gonna fight till the day they die. They're gonna fight till the last match of their careers.
Oh, for sure.
And that'll be it. And then they'll die on camera, and that's the end of their career.
For now.
For now, until they come back up, and they shake each other's hands, and they fight some more, and then the cameras go off while they're fighting. They never stop fighting.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll fight in their Hall of Fame inductions. They'll never stop fighting these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make return visits.
Have them break out at the Hall of Fame.
Come back to Raw 5,000, episode 5,000, or whatever the hell it would be at the time, 20 years from now, and they're still fighting in their wheelchairs and their crutches. Still fighting.
Great.
Still fighting.
One of them rolls the other one off the stage or something.
Never ends. Never ends. Your thoughts on this match? Anything particular that caught your attention?
I mean, we were talking about, like, in the beginning of the show, just the brutality of it, the entertainment, still the show in a lot of ways. The storytelling was great. I mean, the true animosity that these two have, where you think like maybe this bit's been done over and over again, but it's actually getting better in a lot of ways. Yeah, it just gets better. They just take it to another level, and every time you see it, you're like, okay, they're getting back to it. It's like, oh shit, these two guys are going at it again, and it never gets old. No, it doesn't get old because they stretch it out. Like between every few years it takes between this. And there were hints. Like, yes, at one point, Kevin Owens does a power bomb onto the edge of the ring. How many times has he done that? I've seen him do it. It's how he kind of took out Sami Zayn in NXT. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, you've seen it a handful of times for sure, but it's kind of it's almost like that next level when he takes it to that level.
Kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z when they when Goku and Vegeta are like, oh, okay, we're gonna go at it again, but this time we're in our next phase.
Yeah.
So we're gonna introduce you to a whole new level of severity and brutality. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, I mean, Sami, he gets his ass kicked. You kind of knew towards the very end, it's like, yeah, he's gonna lose. This guy is definitely going to lose, and sure enough, he does. The best, of course.
Yeah.
Officials come in to try to like pull off KO. What does KO do? He comes right back. Attacks him one more time. It's great.
Yeah.
If Sami Zayn does not come back to to promo or whatever, the next promo he comes out with like a freaking with bars on his shoulder and like the collar and all that good stuff, I'll be pissed. And I want to see Kevin Owens attack him again.
Yep. Rip all that stuff off of him.
Beat the shit out of him some more. And then and only then, give him like a couple weeks. He'll come back fully healed. Then we'll be good to go. Because we're going to see these two at WrestleMania, obviously. That's where we're going. This is Hell in the Cell. It's going to be Hell in the Cell unless they decide they want to go like Burning Ring, Ring of Fire. I don't give a damn what you do as long as it's something like that. You can't like have a regular freaking match. Can't have a regular match. We're past that point. It's unsanctioned. So what's the next step? Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
That's it. I love Hell in the Cells at WrestleMania. It's always a good time. Can't think of the last Hell in the Cell wrestle. I'm a little off. Because I feel like the last two WrestleManias, I disappoint myself. I can't if it was at one of the last two because we were there. But it's like, but I do obviously know that it was the Triple H. It just recalls Triple H and Undertaker. Is definitely first thing that comes to mind. That's WrestleMania 28. I have to think that there was one more Hell in the Cell between that one and today. But anyways, that's what we're going to get. That's what we're going to get. And I think Triple H is all on board for that too. He loves these two guys. He's going to give them a Hell in the Cell. So, boom. Last match, Elimination Chamber, men's match. Winner takes on Cody Rhodes. Undisputed WWE Championship, WrestleMania 41. This bad boy. You got John Cena, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Seth freaking Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
This bad boy went 32 minutes and 40 seconds. Good stuff. I mean,
right off the bat, people I would have probably crossed off as no shot. Damian Priest and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Favorites would have been something like John Cena, and the second one would have been, I don't know, I just felt like CM Punk was disqualified somehow because a different storyline or something. But dark horse for me was Drew McIntyre, I guess. So,
I appreciate that. I really do. I do feel like that would have made sense. That I was thinking, like, what if Drew McIntyre, and I will even give it credit to Damian Priest, to kind of step it up to be a dark horse, to quite frankly be fed to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what if they go that route so they can feed someone to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41? Okay. Well, here's what I'm thinking. But anyways, the pacing of this match was perfect. Okay, the process, who entered, like as they were coming out to the ring, I was like, okay, this makes sense. This obviously, they start off with Logan Paul coming out. Obviously, he's the biggest heel. Okay, the most disliked. I was like, that makes sense because he's the heel, and two, because he ain't starting this match. He's not a veteran. He's not like he's going to come out in the middle of this thing, or even towards the end. Either way, he comes out. So like then I believe it was Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre. Either way, the last two that show up are Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre, right? They start this thing off, which I think made sense, like perfect sense. They are like two of the top guys in their prime that can go, that trust each other. So I love the way they started this thing. And I thought that maybe they were going to bring out like a CM Punk, or they're going to bring out John Cena to come out either third or fourth. But no, they bring out Logan. I believe Logan Paul was the next one in, and then Damian Priest. They let Cena and CM Punk go last, right?
Yeah.
Come into the ring.
With John Cena before him. Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, these are the two veterans. They cannot go as, I'm sorry, but they're not going to be able to. I mean, Punk can do some stuff.
They're preserving them so they don't get injured.
Exactly. They're preservers. One, don't get injured, or two, completely blow up. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And Seth is like the guy. I'm sorry, but as far as like experience goes and ability, he's like the ring general in there. And in terms of his conditioning and his age. Same with, I'll give it right to Drew. Drew McIntyre is the next one. This guy's awesome. It's a beast. But yeah, I was very surprised with kind of like Drew McIntyre's elimination. It was a quick one, but it makes sense. We're going to get a match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
That is going down. That is going down.
Yeah. And Drew McIntyre is going to win that match.
Yeah, I think so. It's like his revenge to Damian Priest. I think that's where they're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
On kind of a losing streak, essentially.
It is.
Ever since Gunther put him in, remember that triple threat match where he just demolished both of them at the end and just retains the world championship?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good match. They'll have a good, if they, it's almost as if they're going to have to fight for their spot, these two, because they better put on a hell of a match if they're going to go toe to toe at WrestleMania, grudge match. It's what they're setting up for, because Damian Priest obviously has kind of slowed down. He has not had his year. Like his year was kind of, it started obviously good. He was the heavyweight champion, the world heavyweight champion for a while there, kind of like the leader of the Judgment Day, but he was kind of a face, kind of capping off, kind of plateaued real quick.
Drops the title. Well, gets screwed out of the title, but finally gets his chance at Gunther again, and they establish that Gunther is he's the top guy.
No, he's the top guy, and we already kind of knew that he would be the top guy following the Intercontinental Championship match between him and Sami Zayn. I feel bad for Damian Priest because really, they put him in a position where they probably jumped the gun. They could have just kept him as the heel guy for the Judgment Day. Maybe give him a mid-card title or just leave him alone. He's fine doing what he's doing.
Yeah. What he reminds me? Remember when Roman was just a guy or whatever, his stupid stuff, shrugs things off, I don't get... It's kind of, some ways, Damian Priest right now reminds me of, it's like he doesn't have an edge to him anymore. Well, not that he really ever had an edge, but, it's just, he seems, his image and his look just does not match up with, the kind of the nature of what he should be, it seems like.
The pieces are not aligned. He is not in his final form, as Triple H would put it. He's not completely molded. It just shows that's what it is. He, as far as I'm concerned, until that happens, you're just the muscle. You're the big guy in the group. You're not just like Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was the muscle. He was not the leader. It was technically Dean Ambrose, but then Seth was kind of like the weasel behind the mastermind, and he would become, he kind of slingshotted his ass to stardom. I give credit where credit is due. The first time, I know we're drawing off, but it takes a match. It takes something, a match, a promo, and then to see it all come together to be like, oh, okay, that's the guy right there.
Yeah.
The example is Seth Rollins versus John Cena on a Monday Night Raw, a random Monday Night Raw. They say, okay, we're going to put Seth Rollins. Obviously, the Shield is feuding with Cena. They're going to put Rollins in a match with Cena. You had never seen Rollins really show what he could do by himself up against the top tier guy. And what does he do? He's fucking running circles around this motherfucker. And it's legit. And it's like, oh shit, that's the guy right there.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
So there's some, when I see Damian Priest, some of the things I notice, his body size, kind of his look and everything reminds me in some ways, obviously not an exact replica of Kane in a lot of the ways. He, if you took his purple coloring and made it red,
sure.
The way he dresses from the shoulders down, how big and looming he is, but unlike Kane, he lacks that kind of scariness to him, the fear aspect of people are scared of him. Even if Kane's not going to win a match, they're going to hype up the whole time that Kane's going to beat the ass of whoever it is, even if he loses. No one wants to face Kane.
Exactly. And he's a scary dude. He's a scary looking dude too. Damian Priest didn't really look that physically, yes, but his face doesn't look like it's deformed or anything like that. And he's scary as shit. It's not.
And he doesn't seem to really be able to control his expressions. He doesn't play the story up. And that's what I would like to see from Damian Priest is more. I want that edge factor. I want not Edge the wrestler, but the edge.
Take it to 11. Take it the intensity level.
I want to feel like at any moment you should be in danger if you're in the ring with Damian Priest.
If you're around him, even you're you should be in danger.
You should be nervous. Yes. You shouldn't feel comfortable around him.
you got the perfect gimmick for it. The Judgment Day is just kind of a demonic group anyway. So what the hell are you guys waiting for? He could have been that big bad monster. And if he was going to be the champion, if he was going to be the established leader, okay, then he should be the most terrifying individual in the whole damn program on the TV show.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell am I? What am I watching here? I'm watching a guy who's cool and calm and confident, who's basically delegating orders because he's the guy. It's like, dude, that's not going to bring you to the dance.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like a second-rate Roman prior to the tribal chief. That's not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's his final. You said his final form. Right. Once he figures out this obstacle, he's got a good look. He's got a great look. He's got a great body. He's in shape. All of that.
He's got all the tools. He's got the physique. He's got the height, the size, the speed, the strength. And he even has a good tone of voice. He can carry his voice in the promos. He can do all that. But you got to give him a direction. Yeah, a real serious direction.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be some good guy. He's friends with everyone in the back. No. This guy needs to be feared.
Exactly. Amen. What was I going to say? Yeah. And so sure enough, he was, I believe, the next to be eliminated, if not the first.
Yeah, he got eliminated by Logan Paul after that frog splash.
Well, of course, I think did everything he needed to do. You knew he wasn't going to win, but he did what he needed to do. I believe he got a little bit. At one point, he got taken out. Who ended up? Was it CM Punk that ended up hitting the GTS on him?
I don't remember. CM Punk put Logan Paul in a GTS.
That's what I was saying. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Logan looks pretty good. He looks like if he can get experience down and kind of get a little smoother on everything. I mean, his high flying, his athletic ability is there, and he's definitely showing he's going to be great on the mic, even if there's spots right now where it may be a little rough, but
he's rough around the edges in terms of his flow in the ring. Don't get me wrong, I see it. I know that, he is rough around the edges. Ironically, too, because he's such a pretty boy shit heel. He's a golden heel. He's a dick. But honestly, he is rough around the edges in the ring. His flow is not there. And then, yes, his mic skills, I love, hearing some of the things that he says, but, it is not quite there. But at least he's where he needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's going to put any,
I think it's still impressive, though, the showcase that he's been full-time for, I don't know, half a year at most, I can't remember. And to see his development to this point, the fact is, next year this time, he's going to be you're probably not even going to be thinking about this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's learning at such a fast rate.
Right.
And instead of having matches where it's a few really cool high spots, athletic things, he's actually starting to develop some sort of natural flow, even if it's not to the level of the guys that he's wrestling.
I got a great idea for this guy. We got to get into it. So, you know who he reminds me of the most?
Who's that?
But I never would have guessed it too much, but at the same time, he is a reincarnate. He is the second coming in a lot of ways of the Miz.
Yeah, well, which will end up being a much better Miz.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Except he's a better Miz. He is, and I did say before, he is kind of the second coming of a Triple H, a guy who has everything that you want in a wrestler in terms of the look, the style, everything, the pedigree, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. No pun intended. And he's the guy that you want to hate. These are things that you just can't, that you want to kind of pay money to see him get his ass kicked. These are things that you cannot discredit or you have to really appreciate that because it's few and far between. Flair had it, Triple H has it, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase had it, and for me, Logan Paul has it. The Miz even had it for a minute there, but The Miz is interesting because The Miz came from a world that was not pro wrestling, that wasn't even athletics. It was reality TV. He stuck with it. He got better. And honestly, when he first showed up, I thought he had a cool look and he had a cool gimmick, a cool attitude, but he only kind of morphed and evolved. Same thing with Logan Paul. He comes from a realm that is not even athletics. He comes from the realm of not even movies, not even TV shows, not even freaking reality TV. He comes from podcasting. He comes from a podcast show. Like, he's as outside the box as it gets currently. And yes, he is going to be, therefore, I think a perfect little grudge match between these two. Obviously not now, not really thinking about it right now, but it could. I'm going to ask you what you think should go next for Logan Paul. But I do think this is something that could lead up into maybe SummerSlam, a big grudge match between Logan Paul and The Miz, where Paul basically says, I am a new and improved version of you. Like, yeah. And you know it. Like, you know that I'm a better version of you. I'm basically going to do, I'm out doing everything you've done. I make more money than you. I'm better. I'm in better shape than you. I can go in the ring better than you. Hell, I could even get your wife or someone better than her if I wanted to. Boom. Like, yeah. And Miz will lose his shit and go hardcore on him. And then they start really duking it out. And then, it gets Logan to the next level where he's more intense. And they have a match. Paul beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see all that. It'd be nice for like a SummerSlam in that sense.
The heat, turning up the heat.
I just think the crowd hates Logan Paul, so, and right now Miz is a heel, so I'm guessing this will cause Miz to be more of a face or something like that at the point.
Yeah, that would put Miz would definitely be. Miz has kind of been around, like I know he's kind of zoomed in and out of the face of the face role, but he is more or less kind of like at the twilight of his career, so therefore he's kind of like just embracing the face. So yes, he would definitely be the face of this. So that being said, there's plenty we can go with Logan Paul. Knew he was going to talk about, obviously. Seth Rollins, who gets double teamed by CM Punk and John Cena. Obviously, Punk, he's got the beef with Punk more. And I loved the exchanges between John Cena and Punk, as well as Cena and Seth Rollins, and of course, Seth and CM Punk. These three guys are so charismatic in the ring and just tell such a story. I was loving it. You know where this is going. You get this. You just saw it. Before it even hit the screen, you saw that curb stomp coming to hit CM Punk while he was on the ropes, which made me believe they need to do something. Maybe they need to. I mean, don't let this become freaking formulaic, where every single time some dude gets eliminated, he's got to beat the shit out of somebody before he gets taken out of the ring. That's going to be formulaic. I'm getting sick of that. I mean, the rule states the dude is supposed to get taken out of the ring. You want me to do what they need to do is have officials run in that ring and drag that dude out if they have to. Let the dude freaking be pissed. Let him freaking start fighting. But he needs to be lumberjacked out of there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that there might not be there could be a punch thrown in, they could brawl, but don't completely fuck up the whole match. Yeah. And on that note, don't let it happen again, more than once on the same pay-per-view. So, or PLE.
Yeah, for sure, because you had the Jade Cargill, which was technically before the match started, but whatever.
What the hell is this? Yeah, the Chamber is supposed to keep motherfuckers out of the ring, not in the ring. And vice versa.
It's extending out the Seth Rollins. CM Punk doesn't even want to have the feud anymore, but Seth Rollins is pulling him right back into it.
But you knew it was going to come, and we were talking about this. So this is, who's coming into the mix. It's going to be Roman Reigns. These three are. It's going to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania. This is happening.
Because there's no point. Solo Sikoa is probably going to be feuding with Jacob Fatu now, and
makes sense. Yeah.
So, really, what we're probably going to find out from this is what the favor that Paul Heyman owns CM Punk is.
It's probably a match with Roman Reigns.
Probably.
That's probably what it was. I want a match with Roman Reigns if I don't make it to the,
Yeah, I want a big high-profile WrestleMania match. So, and then what happens with Seth Rollins, of course, and then that's how we get to our triple threat, like you're saying.
Yeah, no, but see that, so Punk's going to want Rollins now, but Punk's going to be I want the high-profile match with Roman. Roman wants a match with Rollins because Roman got his ass kicked, curb stomped.
Curb stomp, yeah.
Royal Rumble. Punk's could have probably come out and be like, you know what? I don't even give a fuck what you did at Elimination Chamber. What you did, I expect. I really don't give a shit about you. I've beaten you already. Mm-hmm. I want Roman. Roman's like, I want Rollins. Rollins like, I want Punk. Talk about a three-way dance if there ever was one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Or a triple threat.
And then at some point they're all gonna finally hate each other, and then they're gonna want the three triple threat match.
It's gonna be a triple threat match, and they're gonna have this. This goes back to the beginning of the Shield, and then boom, fucking Dean Ambrose comes out. John Moxley with the official, the mic person, the officiate from AEW. John Moxley. And the same music too, like bow, 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 bow. It's like a new Death Rider music. You know what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous. John,
Death Rider music, it's pretty slowed down too, kind of like stuff. Hey, but Moxley could technically not be the champ anymore. I mean, he's got his match with Edge on Revolution. Is it next weekend?
Is that right? Yeah. So that would make sense. That would make sense for him to drop the title to a guy like Edge. Edge obviously is loved by the audience right now. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a good, figurehead for AEW for the moment. Until Moxley's ready to take it back. But but dude, if they lent Mox to WWE right now at this moment, you're talking about like the biggest match. Like I can't like stress it. Like it could be. I'm just trying to think of anything bigger because I'm going back to WrestleMania 28, Rock vs. Cena. That was really about as big as it gets.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything as big as that. And ironically, the Shield wasn't even around during that year. They came right after. They came towards the end of that year. Their first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 29. Mm-hmm. So this, in my opinion, would be the most like charged. And forget about like hype. Forget about like superstar power. This would be the most charged main event. Or man, it's not even a main event. It'd be like one of the most charged matches I've ever seen in WrestleMania in the last like 10, 20 years. These guys just epitomize like what's been going on in pro wrestling for the last 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of these pieces floating around. I mean, you can see kind of the parallels for WrestleMania for almost all of them there.
Yeah. But John Cena, capitalizes another heel tactic. Totally capitalizes. He looks like he's got that stupid fake look on his face. He's like, oh, we've got to put him in STFU. And I was like, you knew this was coming. But like, again, it was a heel. It's totally heel. He didn't even think to hesitate to jump on him with the STFU. Didn't even think to like attack Seth Rollins. So while yes, he's not the total heel at the moment, it's still heel, like a still heel psychology to a certain extent. He wins the Elimination Chamber. Cody comes out, right? Well, yeah, Cody comes out, shakes his hand if I'm not mistaken. They hug, whatnot. I liked the little spot between Punk and Cena, like they extended hands, but they actually hugged. I knew something like that was going to happen. And then they just started fighting. It's like, okay, like you knew because we're going to get into it, John. This is going to be my favorite part of our episode today is what is going to happen between these two. Their last, we're going to get into it, but Punk obviously Punk gets eliminated. Cody comes out, shakes the hand. Rock comes out, Travis Scott. Fiend song comes on. Mm-hmm. Rock song comes, the second song comes on. Rock does his old corny thing with the forearm, with the goosebumps. It's like, okay, dude, we get it. There's no way that you wear that goosebumps every fucking time. I'm pretty sure you just like probably just shaved it and like you got your razor bumps. It is what it is. Like, but no worries though. You come out, you do your thing. You ask him, "Are you with me?" basically, Cody, you tell me if I'm wrong if you want to add anything to this, but basically Cody says, my soul already belongs to these people, has been, so you can go fuck yourself. No curse, no bleat, no nothing. Straight up, says it. Okay. Cena's like, hell yeah, gives him the dab. Rock does his signal, the gesture to take out Cody, and so he does. Makes him bleed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Gigs
like
him.
multiple attacks.
Gigs
not
the
just
shit out of him.
Yeah, the belt.
Take the belt out, the Cody's soul. We just can't let that go. We're gonna get a T-shirt with Cody's soul like floating up in the sky with the Rock like with a net.
Grabbing it back down. I get that.
Bringing it back down. We have a fucking Rock Shang Tsung shirt with like waves of souls coming in through the skull, and the Rock is like, your soul is mine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, good stuff. Good promo. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah. I like some of the storytelling on this. You kind of see it from a mile away that Cody's going to say no.
Right.
But from Cena's point of view, even leading up to it, you saw it in the Royal Rumble. He spent most of the match on his back. It seemed like he seemed vulnerable.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like, even if he's John Cena, he's a step slower than John Cena from his prime. And
yeah, just a little bit.
People aren't afraid of him anymore. All this kind of stuff leading up to that.
Right.
Essentially, Cena isn't the same Cena. Even if that he won the Elimination Chamber, it makes you kind of feel he was never the same one. So that if he goes to WrestleMania, he's probably going to lose to Cody. So this is where I appreciate the storytelling aspect of it, is that perhaps Cena realizes this. This is why him and The Rock have made some sort of backdoor deal, or that you assume at this point, and that Cena now is, kind of at full strength because he's got somebody like The Rock helping him, and he's willing to. It seems like he's willing to cheat and do all the stuff that he was never willing to do. So, from a standpoint, the scales are no longer tipping in Cody's favor. So that actually makes a legit threat to his title.
Big time.
Yeah.
Entered into the Elimination Chamber without a qualifying match. Everyone kind of took note of that. I took note of it right off the bat. I'm like, well, who the hell gives him that, order? The Rock.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now it all becomes clear. This guy is going to go. He's going to be complete aggressive mode. He's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. He's got nothing to lose except his career, because this is the end of the road. So he's going to be like in survival. Now he's in survival mode. So he's going to be a vicious John Cena. Do I think they can?
This is his last one.
This is what. Yeah. Well,
so anything goes to get him to that last championship.
Anything goes. This is like why I'm very curious as to where the hell they're going with this. And I'm telling you, it can go multiple directions. I do think that Cody Rhodes is dropping that title to John Cena at some point. I'm not saying it's necessarily WrestleMania. It's probably the best time to do it now, but I think it's going to happen. Yes. Even still, let's say Cody survives John Cena and he wins. And that way, at least he has like a second WrestleMania under his belt where he wins. Two WrestleMania, he successfully defends at WrestleMania. Bravo. Cena is going to then win. He could still win Money in the Bank. He could do, you know what I'm saying? Which would make a whole lot more sense for a heel, John Cena, to win Money in the Bank, cash it in, whatever. But I'm telling you now, I'm willing to bet, because and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's great. But I'm still willing to bet that Cena now says, look, this was not my last year. Like, this was my last year as a servant of the people, of the servant of you pieces of garbage that I have been freaking pandering to for the last 2 decades. And now it is about me. It's about money. It is about my time. He's like, as I've been saying it for years and years, your time is up. My time is now.
Yeah, for sure.
But even still, let's say it doesn't go there. You cannot deny the power of the star power the electrifying moment of John Cena and CM Punk in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
He is going to be his last opponent, as far as I'm concerned. I would be okay with Randy Orton, who also obviously made his appearance, facing Kevin Owens. We're going to probably see Kevin. I mean, maybe we could see Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania and Sami. Mm-hmm. We didn't even mention him, but I don't know. I don't know if Orton, I don't know where Orton plays his role in this, but we definitely have to consider that because, we completely forgot about that. He looked good, but it could, obviously if Edge was in WWE, that would make he'd be the other candidate. Those are the three. Those are the only three that I would say is Cena's nemesis.
Well, The Rock could be in there too.
The Rock could. He was not not quite the same generation.
Well, of course, you talk about like feuds and stuff,
and they've already kind of done it.
About who was the face of the company,
and they've already done it. It's like that once in a lifetime. They did it twice, like on a weekly basis. They weren't each other's. They really weren't each other's foils. It's Punk, it's Orton, and it's Edge.
Yeah,
and I got to give. What's up?
Here's a couple thoughts on it then. So, one of the things, I do kind of see the storyline going to where Cena wins the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of interference, things like that. You thought all you had to worry about was the bloodline. Now the final boss is the biggest issue here. And I can see then, super evil Cena holding the belt for a while, because if this is in fact like his last title reign, his last full time, like this would be him being a heel and holding the belt and defending it and using all the underhanded tactics to retain, things like that. I could see them till SummerSlam or something like that.
Easily, yeah.
And then he gets his kind of last title run, last kind of like top guy in the company run, and then drops it. And then I can see a little bit, maybe a hiatus, and then it's time for his redemption.
Right.
And I could see him turning on The Rock. Maybe they have a match. Probably not his final match, but some sort of way of redeeming himself. And so on. And then you get to probably his final actual match somewhere down the line.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. I mean, the other option is just the fact that Cena will lose.
Yeah.
And just go back to being a face again. He will lose. He will not break that streak. He will lose. He got his last chance, shakes his hand, maybe has that match with The Rock, like you mentioned. That would make sense, the redemption. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, there's the possibility of getting that Money in the Bank anyways. But, we really don't. It can go any which way. The other reason why I think it would make a lot of sense that Cena does not just end it at the end of 2025 is that after looking at those two in the ring, I want to see the main event that we should have gotten so many years ago. John Cena, CM Punk, WrestleMania, that's it. And that's it. It really comes back full circle. These are the two guys that should have been main eventing WrestleMania a long time ago. Time ago. Going back to WrestleMania 27. That should have been their WrestleMania. They never did it. It's insane that they didn't do it. And then now and even when it was obvious that they should have done it, they never did it. It probably should have been WrestleMania 30. Okay. They just, of course they did the thing with Daniel Bryan, but it's yeah. Either way, these two, I feel like that's it. That's the big one. That's the payoff. That these two guys need to have a WrestleMania. The only option. No, screw that. No, there's really no other way to go. I was trying to think of any other route that they could to fast track it to putting those two in the ring. I'm telling you, that makes a lot of sense for them to have. I mean, unless they decide, okay, they're going to main event SummerSlam. It's just, which I'm cool with, but it's because CM Punk's going to get his. If he's clearly not getting his main event this year, he's getting it next year. He's getting it next year. That's it. He is willing to roll the dice one more year and say, okay, let's do it next year.
I mean, if you put the belt on Cena at WrestleMania, just saying this, and he loses it at like a SummerSlam, let's say he lost it to Punk for some, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Punk could then, realistically walk into the next WrestleMania as the champ.
Right.
And have his WrestleMania match defending it and, retaining the title.
Sure. Absolutely. He's done that before. He did it at WrestleMania 28. But, yeah, I mean, it could go that way. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. Those are good options. And that's the best thing. I guess the best point of all is that we have so many possible avenues to go. It's about as entertaining as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really as entertaining as it gets. So it was a great show. On that note, it is now, we have hit the 1 hour, 30-minute mark. Jonathan.
All right. Well,
anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, great. Lots of fun leading up to WrestleMania. Where I'm just thinking of ideas now.
Yeah, we got to think of ideas. Got to text me, hit me up with those ideas. We got a Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. Obviously, I won't be able to watch it until the next day, but should be very interesting, as will the next SmackDown. And there's no more pay-per-views between now and WrestleMania as far as WWE goes.
Yep, that's the last WWE pay-per-view before April 19th or whatever.
Yeah, so we'll definitely do we'll have to do a previews and predictions episode leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that would be nice. That'll be good. All right then, guys. One more time before you leave, please hit that like or subscribe button. Both that like or subscribe button. What am I saying? At Channel Cortez 33, at Bad Guy Wrestling. Jonathan, it's been great. And until next time, y'all have a good night. Take care.